Greetings and salutations. I have a project today that I'm actually getting back to, which is changing the badges out on my motorcycle tank. So I thought, since I have to do that, I'll show you how to do it. So that's what we're going to do on today's Graybeard Biker. Okay, so for those of you that might remember, Alchemy has gas tank badges that are different than the ones that come on a Road King. I got them, had them made copper, and had them put on. Matter of fact, here they are. This is the original gas tank that I had on the bike. Well, if you remember in the Leesburg episode, this one right here, the bike fell over in the trailer and it scratched the gas tank. So as opposed to repairing the gas tank, they just gave me a new one. It's literally just been scratched, but they gave me a new one, so I'll take it. So now I have to transfer the badges from this one to the new tank. So that means a couple of things. Number one, it means I have to take the badges off again, which means I get to show you the tutorial of how to do it. It also means that I'm going to have this gas tank, which is scratched, but nothing is wrong with, that's going to be available for sale as used equipment. I'm also going to have the original badges from the Road King that are for sale and available. And I'm going to put the, matter of fact, I'll put a QR code right here. If you're interested in either one of these straight from Alchemy, you're welcome to go and purchase it from there. I'll have it available on Facebook Marketplace because eBay charges more money. But we can ship to wherever you happen to be. So if you want it, you can go there, look at the listings for it, and then send me a message from there, and then let me, if you're out of town, if you're not in the Atlanta area, let me know where you are, and then I will quote shipping for you, and it'll be the shipping plus whatever the cost of the unit is. And that'll be that. You can own a piece of Alchemy. How cool is that? Now, anyway, today what we're going to do is show you how to take these off. I'll also show you how to put them on. So if you do happen to get this gas tank and then the badges that came off of the gas tank that's on it now, and you want to put the two together, you'll know how. Also, if you want to change the badges out on your own, you'll know how. Now, if you just stumbled across this tutorial and you're looking to customize your bike with different tank badges or emblems, I've put together a list of some of the badges that are available to use as inspiration or to choose from, whatever. And those are going to be within that list. That's all of the products used in this video, which is going to be this QR code right here. Lots of resources for you here today. So that's what we're going to do starting right now. All right, so there's going to be a couple things that you need for this job, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you what they are. You're going to need a heat gun. This heat gun here is super cheap, and I just got it from Amazon. Matter of fact, the link is right here. I'm going to keep putting these up here, but at the end of all of my videos is the QR code for my Amazon store. I do a lot of stuff on Amazon because I have Prime, and when I want something, I want it now. So, so that way I don't have to wait for a long time for shipping. Lord knows you can't go to the store and get anything anymore. So through Amazon, I can order whatever it is, have it here super fast. Big fan of Amazon, and all of the things that I use, I usually try to give to you guys through that store. So the Amazon store is not, I'm not selling the products on the store. They're just links to the products that I use on Amazon. Anyway, all of these things are going to be on there. This is a Homidic. See, I don't even know the name of it because it doesn't matter. You could literally use a hairdryer, but Using a hairdryer is cumbersome. It's my wife's hairdryer. I don't really need one anymore, so I just got one of these to keep in the garage. So you need this. I'll show you why in a minute. You're also going to need fishing line. And so I got this. This is 8-pound fishing line. It's super thin, and I'll show you what we use that for in a minute. This is right here, also on that page. You're also going to need some Goo Gone here, and then this is a empty spray bottle. Empty spray bottle I also got on Amazon. That is 70% alcohol, 30% water. You're also going to need I don't even know what these things are called, a tool. And I'm going to use this one. And this will be used to get the goo off. I'll show you. This actually came from a kit that I got, again, on Amazon, right there, that I got for another project. This is actually really good for, if you're doing any work on cars, having to pop off those plastic rivets. It's got all kinds of tools in it for that. You know, anytime you have those little plastic rivets in your car, whether you're taking the dash apart or whatever, we also have a Jeep, and so I was doing a lot of work to the Jeep, taking the panels off and that sort of thing. So I got this for that. But it also has these in it, which I am using for this project. So this will be linked as well. I always like to have the right tool for the job. One of the things that you'll notice, which is why I keep showing you where these tools are on Amazon, which is because I had to seek them out. So I'm kind of trying to do that work for you, if that makes sense. So you're also going to need 3M plastic emblem and trim adhesive. Again, I'll put the code right there. This is to put the emblem on the tank. You're also going to need gloves. And you need gloves because this will cut your hand after a while. So just your normal fingerless gloves should be absolutely fine for what you're going to need. So let's get started getting this thing going. So you put your gloves on just because they protect your hands when you're doing this, because that will cut into your hand. All right. Now, because I have this tabletop here, I can show you what it is that that I'm doing in here in the studio. I also have footage of me doing it on the original badges, which are actually out in the garage too. But what you do is you take your heat gun and you heat up your emblem. Now, turn it off because it's loud. It'll take a while for you to do it because it's got to heat through the metal of the emblem and then start to melt the adhesive that's behind it. And then what you do is you take your fishing line, you run along behind it, and it cuts through that heated up glue. So let's just do it. I usually just do one side at a time because keeping the whole thing hot all the way through takes a while. All right, so I heated that up about half of it. Wrap this around my gloved hand. This I have the spool, so it's not as bad. And then you just thread it through, kind of like you're flossing your teeth. And then you just work it back and forth. I would say it is easier to do this when it's on your bike. kind of work it back and forth as it kind of cuts through there. And yes, your fishing line may break. This one hasn't yet, but it did before. So you just do it again. And as you can see, kind of go all the way through. And now you can see there's a line, and then it'll just pop right off. Ta-da! So now you can see we have the medallion easily separated. It really doesn't take that long to do. The harder thing is going to be you cleaning this. All right, so once we have this off, which again I will replace on the newer one, we have this nice sticky residue that's left, which is a pain. And so you have this tool, which is going to be used to scrape it off. But you will notice, I'm not even going to try because I've done this before, this will not do it by itself. You have to have the Goo Gone first. So this comes in a pen. I've never used it in a pen. I will put it in my list as a pen because I would have liked to. But you can also just use it like this, which is what I'm going to do. And you just take a rag. This rag, this is actually interesting. This actually came from Amsoil Adam. I bought something from him at a rally one time and asked him if he had a rag for me to use whatever said thing was. I don't know if it was a cleaner or what it was. But yeah, so he gave me a rag, and so I'm still using it. Thanks, Adam. But anyway, what I do is kind of put this in here in this bottle because I don't have the pen. Right? And then, because we don't want it to spill, soak the end of it like so. And then you can just kind of blot around where this is. Because this is not flat, you don't want to just pour it. It'll pour all over your table or whatever. But if you do this, you can just kind of see how it's setting in there and staying with the goo that's there. Now, it does take a while for this to work. Goo Gone is not instantaneous. So you get that good and soaked. So you kind of put that on there and you let it soak in. So you can see, I don't know that you can see on the camera here, but you kind of dab it on there so it soaks through the leftover residue. And then you have to let it sit and soak in. So close up this because it smells like gasoline. As far as I know, it may actually be gasoline, but you close it up because I don't know if it could cause any damage to your lungs or whatever. I don't know, your smeller. But I just put this around until it soaks in and then leave it alone. If you keep doing it, you're just going to grab it, soak it back up into your rag. So don't do that. So after a while, then you can take your tool and start to get this off where it started to break down from the Goo Gone. So I don't know what you painted your tank with. So this is a stock tank, but just the same. Read the instructions on the Goo Gone bottle. You want to make sure it's not going to damage your paint. This does not damage the stock paint, I have found. All right, but I always end up having to do more than one pass at this because you can soak into that first layer and then get it off, but there's always more underneath, and so I just do it again. Same thing. And then just let it sit. Give it time to kind of eat through this stuff here. Now I'm going to be doing a cleaning tutorial, detailing, whatever you want to call it, over the off season here. You know, we got to find something to do when there's no rallies. And so be sure that you're all like and subscribe so that you know when that one comes out. I actually got some new products that I was introduced to. I'll tell you the story behind that and then introduce those products to you in that video. So make sure you're like and subscribed, and there's the little notification bell so that you don't miss anything that we put out. Actually, it just takes a few minutes, really, for this thing to start working. I don't know if you left it longer, maybe it would be better. I'm not that type of patient person. I want it done as soon as possible. As it comes off, you just kind of wipe it off your tool. The biggest issue you run into is if you don't get this off while it's wet, it may just harden again, and then you just got to do it all over again. I don't know that. All right, so I'm going to give it a third pass with the Goo Gone here. Again, if I was more patient, then maybe this would, you know, soak through without having to do multiple passes. But I am not that guy. So I just go through and make sure it's good and wet. Then wait a few more minutes. Now, when you've got it the majority of the way off, or even if you just want to clean halfway up, find a different spot on your rag. And then this is 70% alcohol, 30% water in a bottle. Now, you could take any old empty bottle that you have, clean it out, and hopefully that'll work. I didn't do that. I just went and got bottles because I'm going to keep this. So I bought this bottle on Amazon. It's just an empty bottle. It comes in a pack of 3, I believe. And then I mark whatever it is on it. But anyway, you take this. You just spray it on there. Get it wet. And then just kind of wipe it off. Now, the reason why I use this concoction instead of soapy water, Goo Gone will actually tell you to use soapy water. If you look on there, I think. And if you don't have alcohol, you're welcome to do that. Or you're welcome to do that anyway. But I use the alcohol because it evaporates quickly, which means that you don't have to worry about trying to dry it and leaving streaks and that sort of thing. So. This actually does really, really good at that because it goes on there, gets it wet, lets you clean it, and then goes away. A little elbow grease here. Because that Goo Gone will leave this film over it because it's some sort of chemical, right? All right, and then if you do it halfway, you can still see you have some left. You just go back with your Goo Gone again. Be more patient. Now you can really clean up and see where you're at anyway. It's a few more spots. Now, while we're working on this, I'll tell you, the if you are, it's like I said, this tank is going to be up for sale. If you are concerned about the scratches that are on this tank are not deep. They are extremely fixable. If you know anything about touch-up paint and that process, maybe I'll do a video on that sometime too. But it's very, very fixable. The dealership just didn't want to bother fixing it. So there's no rust inside the gas tank. Again, the gas tank was perfectly fine before the accident. It's been drained, of course. But if you want me to do a tutorial on touch-up paint and fixing scratches and stuff, let me know. Put it in the comments. I don't mind doing that. All right. And then we're off for our next medallion. And then we have the whole Goo-Gone process again. Second verse, same as the first.
Second verse, same as the first.
I dare say getting the residue off is harder than taking the actual badge off. Now, if you're just going to throw your tank away, then you don't have to worry about doing any of this cleaning up stuff. But a lot of people, if you know how much Harley charges for these tanks, and how difficult it would be to try to get like a dent out on your own, it's much easier to replace it with a used tank, which is what I'm kind of getting this ready for. It'll be a lot less expensive to buy this used than to try to buy one new. And it's also going to be a lot easier, if not less expensive, to just get one that's perfectly fine with no dents in it than for you to try to get in here and bang a dent out yourself. And then that's it. I would say inside of, 30, 40 minutes, you can have this done, completely cleaned off, and ready to rebadge. So let's jump into the rebadging process. All right, so I still have the adhesive from when I did the original Alchemy project. This is 3M plastic emblem and trim adhesive. Now, it says plastic emblem because on most cars, they're plastic. On the Harley, it's a metal emblem, but still works, metal, plastic, either one. So this is what we use to put it on. I'm gonna put this code right there so you can find it. All right, the first thing that we're gonna wanna do is make sure that our area is clean. So I have, again, my 70% alcohol, 30% water. And we just spray it and wipe it down. Make sure it's all clean here. We don't want anything underneath our adhesive. And go ahead and do both sides here. Looks like there may be a little bit of residual goo now that I can see it better, so let's do that too. You can't really see it, but you see this little buildup that I'm scraping right here? If you still have that, you still have goo. It's a little bit from where we couldn't quite see last night because it was dark. Nice and smoothly cleaned off there. All right, so what I'm going to try to do now is tell you how to line the badges up so they don't annoy the crap out of you from that point forward. I am kind of obsessed with things being symmetrical, and by obsessed I mean if it's not right, it will drive me nuts. So it's very important that I get it correct. sometimes you can feel where the right place for this is going to be using that lining. Now, the problem is there could be more than one place that feels good. So what you have to do is kind of determine it needs to be in the center of this space to me. And so you have to measure, and then once that measure is the same on both sides, you're good. Now I have a little bit of sticky here, so I get to not permanently kind of put it in here and see what happens. So try to remember exactly where it was before. I think it's somewhere near there. And so then we can measure from this top pinstripe. Not only that, but you have to make sure that the logo is not wonky this way too. It's really a pain in the ass. So that is about 2.5. There's no one on the bottom. 7.5. 5.25. Okay, so I'm going to come straight down underneath my gas cap here. All right. And then I'm going to make another one. Looks just like it. All right, so now I've got two virtually identical pieces of tape. Coming from just under the gas tank, gas cap. All right. Now, going forward, same thing. Go straight across with the N here. Right? Okay. We make a second one, looks just like it. Now this one on this side is going to be flipped, but it's still close enough for you to measure it with your hands and look and see. Now, like I said, the tape, because you did it this way, on this side it'll be flipped around, which means the sticky part will be on the wrong side, but you can still use it to measure with. And it tells me that this line up, the top of the N is now the top of the D, right? Tells me it's pretty good. Needs to be moved over just a piece. And this really isn't a science, guys. It just has to not piss you off. I think that's going to be fine. So then you just have to stand back, look at it, make sure it's not going to make you mad. So now all you have to do is take this off. You've got it marked where the tape is, right? Put your adhesive up under it, put it back on, wait for it to dry, and that should be good. Again, you don't have to be super crazy about this. I'm a little crazier than most because if I see it off, it'll drive me nuts. But because I'm a graphic artist, it's a little different for me. Most people probably won't notice because you can't really see both at the same time. So as long as it looks good on the one side, you'll be fine. Just make sure that it's centered where you want. The important thing is that the distance from here to the top, here to the top is the same. And the distance from here to the side, those you want to be the same. And you want to make sure that it's parallel depending on which one it is. You don't want it to be crooked. So I'm using the bottom of Willie's skull to be parallel with the floor. That's what I'm looking at there. So that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully it will help you if you are changing out your badge. And if you like motorcycle content, hit the like button. If you like our motorcycle content, please do hit the subscribe button. And yeah, then we'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay free. Keep it shiny side up.
Yeah.